Have you ever had one of those nights that seem normal right up until the moment you realize you're completely alone and nobody knows where you are? Yeah, that's what this is about. Welcome back to And If It's Real. Tonight, I brought a story that sounds like it came straight from a local news bulletin. One of those you hear and think, that would never happen to me. But what if it did? What if, on an ordinary night, a job that should be easy, babysitting a child and watching TV until the parents come home, became a fight to survive until dawn? For now, just turn off the light, take a deep breath, and listen. My name is Megan, and I never thought a simple babysitting job would leave scars I'd carry forever. It was a September Friday. The parents, Amanda and David, had a company party, and they called me because their son, Eli, 6 years old, liked me. I'd babysat him before. It was a nice house in a new neighborhood, the kind where the streets are too clean and the streetlights seem to come on all at once. I arrived at 7. Amanda greeted me with her usual tired smile, gave me instructions. Eli had already eaten, pajamas were laid out, and the emergency phone number was posted on the fridge. They planned to be back around midnight. Simple. Just a normal night. Eli fell asleep at 9:30. I sat on the living room couch with the lamp on, watching one of those late-night home improvement shows. Everything felt safe. Until 12:43 a.m., when the intercom rang. The sound made me jump off the couch. It took me a few seconds to realize what it was. Nobody ever came by. I went to the virtual gate and pressed the talk button. Who is it? For a moment, only the wind. Then a calm male voice with a light accent. Hi, sorry to bother. I'm the neighbor from house 14. I need quick help. My wife is sick and my car won't start. Can I use the phone? My skin prickled. That street only had 8 houses, and I was sure number 14 had been up for sale for months. Sorry, I answered, trying to keep my voice steady. I'm alone here. I can't open. Silence. Too long. Then the sound of slow footsteps moving away from the door. I went back to the living room, trying to calm my racing heart. Minutes later, I heard something else. Not the doorbell. A light tap on the side window glass. I looked, and outside, under the unlit street lamp, there was a shadow. Not a clear figure, just a tall form, standing still, like it was waiting. The room light reflected on the glass so I couldn't see a face. I turned the lamp off. The silence became so thick I could almost hear my own blood. I picked up the landline. Dead line. My cell phone? No signal. The house sat on top of a small hill, and the reception flickered all the time. Of course, always at the wrong time, I thought. I looked again. The shadow was gone. But there was something on the porch floor. A note held down by a stone. I know you're alone. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just froze. Every muscle in my body refused to move. I ran to Eli's room. He was asleep, breathing calmly, hugging his stuffed dinosaur. I closed the door and shoved the dresser against it. Then I sat on the floor, clutching my phone, waiting for the signal to come back. 20 minutes of unbearable silence passed until I heard the back door creak. A slow click, like someone testing the lock. I knew I'd locked every door. But the sound was real, metal on metal, someone trying to get in. And then I realized something worse. The noise wasn't coming from the kitchen, it was coming from the basement. For a second, I thought my mind was playing tricks, but the sound kept coming, that metallic scrape, the muffled groan, like someone trying an old doorknob from beneath my feet. The house had a small storage basement. I'd seen it in the other times I'd babysat for Eli. Amanda used it for boxes, Christmas decorations, and old toys. The door was in the back, near the kitchen. Now every sound coming from there made the air feel heavier. I checked the wall clock, 1:12 a.m. By then, Eli's parents should have been on their way back, but the road out to that neighborhood was long and winding. They could be an hour late, and I couldn't call anyone. Landline dead, cell, no signal. I thought about running, grabbing Eli and taking off, but where would we go? Outside was only the empty road and darkness. No nearby neighbors, no passing cars, no one awake. I swallowed my fear and walked to the kitchen. Each step made the floor creak. I grabbed a kitchen knife more to feel like I had some control than because it would actually protect me. The sound stopped. The silence made me hesitate, as if the house itself had held its breath with me. I slowly opened the door that led to the back hallway. At the end of it was the basement entrance, a small white door with a simple latch. The ceiling light was flickering, that kind of shimmer that makes your brain see shapes that aren't there. When I came closer, I noticed something. The latch was slightly lifted, like someone had pushed it up from the inside, from inside. The sound returned, clearer now. A slow scratching, like nails scraping the wood of the door. By instinct, I took a step back. The knife was trembling in my hand. And then 3 sharp knocks, from the other side, rhythmic, deliberate. I backed up until I hit the kitchen chairs, my heart pounding in my ears. Everything in me screamed to run, but I stayed, frozen, waiting for the sound to stop. And it did. Total silence. Even the hum of the light seemed to die. That's when I noticed the most disturbing detail of all. The basement door was slightly open. I took a deep breath and, without really thinking, slammed it shut. Locked it. Pushed a chair against it. Then leaned against the wall, trying to think. All I wanted in that moment was for my phone to get a signal again. I grabbed it, ran upstairs to the room on the 2nd floor. Sometimes the signal was better there. As I climbed, I heard something move downstairs. A slow shuffle, like bare feet on wooden floors. And then, a small, familiar sound. Eli's stuffed dinosaur hitting the floor. No, he was asleep, wasn't he? I ran to his room. The door was just as I had left it, the dresser still blocking it. But Eli wasn't in bed, the pillow still warm, the sheets rumpled, and the dinosaur, lying in the hallway. The air vanished from my lungs. I looked around, desperate. Eli? Nothing. Eli? Where? Are you? A sound answered. Faint, coming from below, from the basement. I wanted to believe he was playing, that he'd woken up and gone down quietly, but the note was still outside, and the door, locked. I grabbed my phone again. Signal. Just 1 bar, but enough to try. I dialed the police, Before the call even went through, I heard knock, 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 the same 3 knocks. Now, at the front door. I looked out the window. The street was empty. No cars, no people. Just the darkness of the eye, hill, and the sound of the wind. The phone slipped from my hand when I saw the metallic reflection on the doorknob. It was turning, again, slow, persistent. I held my breath and took 2 steps back. And that's when I heard very softly a voice from the other side of the door. "Megan, open up. He wants to talk to you." The sound of my own breathing echoed inside my head. That voice, it knew my name, and it wasn't the same as the man who claimed to be the neighbor. For a moment, I thought it was a prank, some sick joke, but the tone, calm, almost intimate, froze me in place. "He wants to talk to you." Who was he? I picked up the phone again, my hands shaking. The signal kept fading in and out, maddening. I dialed 911. Nothing. The call wouldn't even connect. The knocking came again, this time softer, as if the person knew I was standing right behind the door, listening. "You don't have to be afraid, Megan." The voice almost smiled. "I just want to talk." I took 2 steps back, tried not to make a sound, but the floor creaked beneath my feet. The sound seemed to alert whoever was outside. "You're making noise." I held my breath. Every fiber of my body screamed to run. But the thought of Eli kept me there, frozen. He could still be inside the house. He could be hurt, hiding, or worse. I heard something move again downstairs, from the direction of the basement. A long creak, then a metallic snap, like a lock giving way. I ran back to the stairs and looked down the hall. The basement door, the one I had locked, was open again. Open. Slowly, as if someone had pushed it from inside. And then I realized the front door was ajar too. A thin stream of cold air slipped in, making the curtains sway. Whoever had been outside wasn't anymore. They were inside. I walked down the stairs slowly, every step measured, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. I didn't know if I was heading toward danger or trying to protect the one child I couldn't find. The sound came from the basement, something dragging below. I stepped carefully, gripping the knife so tightly my hand ached. With every step down, the air grew colder. The ceiling light flickered like before, and that sound, low, uneven, grew nearer. Breathing. It was breathing. When I reached the last step, I saw a shape, a small silhouette standing in the middle of the basement. It was Eli. "Eli?" My voice barely came out. He didn't answer. He just turned his head slowly, looking at me with wide, unblinking eyes. "There's a man here," he whispered. He told me not to make a sound. My stomach turned to ice. Before I could answer, I heard footsteps behind me at the top of the stairs. Heavy, slow. I looked up. A figure stood there. A tall man, hooded, his face partially hidden by shadow. He took the first step down and spoke in the same calm tone as on the intercom. "Don't scream, Megan. I don't want to hurt anyone." But he was holding something in his hand, something metallic that glinted under the flickering light. Not a gun. It looked like a tool handle, heavy, rusted. I stepped forward, placing myself between him and Eli. "Leave us alone," I said. He gave a faint smile. "It's too late for that," and lunged. The struggle was short, messy, silent. I tried to stab him, but he dodged and shoved me hard. I crashed into the boxes, air knocked from my lungs, but in a desperate move, I slashed his arm. The knife went in. He screamed. Eli ran to the corner, crying softly. The man staggered, back, clutching his wound. For a moment, I thought he would flee. But he stopped on the stairs, turned his bloodied face toward me, and said, "You think you stopped me, Megan? You weren't the one I wanted." Then he bolted upstairs, knocking everything over as he went. I heard the front door slam. Silence. Only Eli's sobbing and the distant sound of screeching tires. I ran to the window. An old car, headlights off, sped down the street, and just then the sirens wailed in the distance. My phone finally got signal again. When the police arrived, I was still shaking. I told them everything. The note, the man, the basement. They searched the entire house. No signs of forced entry, no footprints, no tools left behind, nothing. But on the porch, under the same stone that had held the note, there was another piece of paper. The officer handed it to me with gloves on. A single sentence written in block letters. "You weren't her first job." That sentence hollowed me out. You weren't her first job. The handwriting was steady, calm, like it had been written without hurry. That was the part that scared me most. The officer folded the note and looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. "How long have you known this Amanda?" 3 months, I said. "I've been working with the family since early summer." He jotted something in his notebook, then asked almost casually, "Did she ask for references before hiring you?" The question hung in the air. I thought for a moment. No. Actually, it all happened pretty fast. A friend told me she needed someone urgently. I said yes the same day. The officers exchanged glances and kept writing. "And this friend, do you still keep in touch with her?" "No, she moved to another city." The silence that followed was colder than the night air drifting through the open door. That night, after the police left, I couldn't sleep. Eli was safe at the neighbor's house. I stayed alone, staring at the note, trying to understand what "you weren't her first job" really meant. Her job, not mine. The sentence wasn't about me. Then who was it about? I grabbed my phone and started searching Amanda's full name on Google. Nothing unusual, just an ordinary woman, no active social media, no recent records. But when I added her husband's last name, one result popped up. Couple involved in missing person investigation. Case closed. The article was old, 8 years ago. A photo accompanied the text. Amanda, a bit younger, beside a man, with a hard expression and a cheap suit. The same face from the framed photo hanging in their living room. The husband working out of town. The case involved the disappearance of a 19-year-old nanny named Lacey Monroe. The last person to see her alive was Amanda. I stared at the screen, trying to rationalize it. Could have been another Amanda, another last name, just a coincidence. But the address listed was the same neighborhood, same street. Suddenly, everything started to make sense. The disabled cameras, the basement, the non-existent neighbor, the anonymous note. and the phrase, "You weren't her first job." Someone had tried to warn me. But who? The man who broke in? Or someone still inside the house? The next morning, Amanda came back. She arrived early with that same calm smile and her usual strong perfume. "I heard what happened, dear. How awful. Are you both all right?" I could only nod. She seemed genuinely shocked, but there was something different in her eyes, a cold, distant glint. "Did you stay here all night?" she asked casually. "Yes, the police stayed for a while. Then I was alone." "Ah, I see." She adjusted her hair, scanning the room carefully. "And did they find anything?" The way she asked made me uneasy. It wasn't curiosity, it was caution, as if she wanted to make sure nothing had been discovered. That night, while she was putting Eli to bed, I heard something in the hallway, a drawer opening slowly, soft footsteps. I went to the door and peered through the crack. Amanda was in the office. She was rummaging through a box of documents, glancing over her shoulder the whole time. I grabbed my phone and took a picture. The flash went off by accident. She turned immediately. Her eyes pierced right through me. For a moment, no one moved. Then slowly, she smiled. A small, crooked smile. "Curious, Megan?" The next day, the sheriff knocked on my door. The investigation about the man from the previous night had taken an unexpected turn. No neighbors reported seeing anyone on the street at that hour, and the corner cameras, the only ones working, showed only me opening the door and looking outside. No intruder, no car. But the note, the paper was still there. Only now it had my own fingerprint on it. I tried to explain, but I saw it in the officer's eyes. He thought I was lying. That night, I got a message from an unknown number. No name, no photo. "He didn't leave, Megan. He's just waiting for the next job." My heart started racing. I looked down the hallway. Eli's bedroom light was on, but I could have sworn Amanda had said goodnight and left 10 minutes ago. And yet, I heard it. From inside the room, a low male whisper, saying her name. "Amanda." I could have left right then. I could have grabbed my things, walked out, and never come back. But fear does strange things. Sometimes it traps you. And as irrational as it sounds, I needed to understand what was happening in that house. The next morning, Amanda said she was taking Eli to a medical appointment. As soon as her car turned the corner, the house fell into complete silence. Now or never. I grabbed the spare keys from the kitchen and went down to the basement. The smell was the same as the night of the attack, a mix of mold, metal, and stale air. The light bulbs were burned out, and the only light came from a faint glow through the small high window. I started searching around. The shelves were filled with old boxes, broken toys, papers, but behind a cabinet covered with a dusty sheet, I noticed something I had never seen before. A vertical cut in the wall, about the size of a door, and a metal lock built into it. I pulled the sheet away. It was a door, iron, painted the same color as the wall. Hidden. My heartbeat quickened. I turned the latch. It wasn't locked. The door creaked open slowly, revealing a narrow concrete corridor. At the end of it, a small room, lit by a single yellow bulb hanging from the ceiling. Inside, there was a bed. A plate with old food scraps, and on a small table, a photograph. Eli. But not the Eli I knew. A younger one, with a different haircut, different clothes, and beside him, a woman who wasn't Amanda. In the corner, a wooden chair and an old video camera pointed at the bed. The equipment looked ancient, but it was on. The red light was blinking. I stepped closer, trembling. Pressed play. The screen showed Amanda, smiling. Her voice was calm, almost motherly. "You'll be fine here, okay? Mommy will take care of everything." Then the camera turned to a woman tied to the chair. Young, terrified, her voice shaking. "Please, just let me go." Amanda knelt in front of her and whispered something the microphone barely caught. "You should have stayed in the room." I paused the video, shaking. The sound of the gate opening snapped me back to reality. Amanda was home. I ran upstairs and pretended to be cleaning the kitchen. She walked in, smiling. "Everything all right here?" "Yes," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. But her eyes scanned every corner of the room, as if she knew. As she passed by me, she gently touched my shoulder and said, "You look tired. Didn't sleep well again?" "A little." She nodded, leaning close to my ear. "The basement's too damp, dear. It's bad for your breathing." That night, I made my choice. I waited for her to fall asleep, picked up Eli, and left the house without looking back. I left the car on the street and ran to the nearest police station. I showed them the photo, the video, everything I had found. But when we returned the next day with a warrant, the basement was clean. No hidden door, no video, no photograph. As if none of it had ever existed. Amanda was gone. Her husband was never found. Eli was placed in temporary custody. I never saw him again. 3 months later, I received an envelope in the mail. No sender. Inside, a single photo. Me, standing in front of the house, on my first day of work. On the back, a handwritten message. "You weren't the first either." You know, people think they understand what safety means. They think a good neighborhood, a clean house, and a polite smile equal trust. But they don't. If I learned anything that night, it's that evil doesn't always come from a dark alley. Sometimes it offers you coffee, pays you well, and says it'll be home before midnight. So, if you ever work alone at night, babysitter, driver, delivery person, security guard, trust your instincts. They always know before. Your brain does. And if something inside you whispers, "Leave," don't argue. Just go. Because most of the time, the danger isn't outside the house. It's already inside. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And if you have a bizarre, creepy, or just uncomfortably real story, send it to us. I promise, if it keeps me up at night, it might just become our next episode. See you in the next story.